Welcome, everybody, to the Expendable Show. I'm your host, the Expendable. So I've broken a rule that I've had long standing on Facebook that I wouldn't get on and do too much trolling of people. But for some reason, I keep getting liberals, like super lefty liberals that keep friend requesting me. And I don't think they understand what they're getting themselves into. So all I see is like all this like uprising shit on my Facebook page all day. And you know, all this like insanity all day long, about how I'm a fascist and a piece of shit. And so I was like, you know what? Screw these chumps. I'm tired of being nice. So I wasn't very nice the last few days to some of the liberals. I'm just tired. I'm tired of hearing like the same argument that they continually have every single day. It hasn't changed. And they haven't figured out that this is why you lost the election. Until you change your strategy, you're going to continue to lose because attacking everybody in America is not going to win your candidate votes. Just so you know, I don't know how much more kindergarten I can make that for you. And on top of that, I keep hearing, oh, these uneducated MAGAs, they just followed. You know what? These uneducated MAGAs beat you prestigious, elite, educated Harvard people. So what does that say about you and your prestigious educations? You got beat by a bunch of uneducated hillbilly inbreeders. Whatever. Say what you want. It ain't gonna hurt my feelings. I'm just coming right back at you. I'm taking hearts. That's what I'm doing. Hi, Shauna. You're welcome to the show today.
Hey, good people.
So, before I forget, like, subscribe, ding the bell. All right, let's get to it. So, Doge. Everybody knows about Doge, right? Doge is pretty much a household name now, I think. So, they've released some of the things that they found in our budgeting that we're going to talk about real quick. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I know we're a bunch of Nazis, Colin, I guess, somehow. We can still be Nazis and support Israel at the same time somehow. I'm not sure how that works. Does that make any sense? That makes zero sense. How can I be a fascist, a Nazi, and a Zionist all at the same time? Makes no sense. I'm so confused by all this rhetoric. Anyway, Doge has found.
I'm surprised that they have a big enough vocabulary.
Facts. Anyway, Doge has found the Federal Glitter Cleanup Task Force. So you mean this whole time that my kids was making messes with glitter, that all I had to do was call the Glitter Cleanup Task Force and they would have came and done it. They would have cleaned it up for me. Where has this been for like 20 some years that I've had kids? But that's gone. They cut it. It's not a program anymore. Now, the Bureau of Alarm Clock Testing to make sure our alarm clocks can wake us up. Yeah. Next, the National Ice Cream Cone Structural Integrity Lab. They have a lab for ice cream cones. For one, I want to work there. Malarkey, I know, Colin. It's just straight malarkey. So no more ice cream cone research. I'm disappointed. The Federal High Five Coordination Bureau. So how am I going to high five now? Like, I'm going to be missing all the time. Be like, I'm going to miss all my high fives. Like, can you believe? I'm not even halfway through the list yet. The Department of Sock Pairing. Why have a sock pairing department when you can just have a wife do it? Was that misogynistic, Shauna? It was. I win. Actually, that was a really big thing in my house because in my last marriage, I did all the laundry. So I could like her kids, my stepkids, they would lose socks all the time. I could never find them. I don't know where they went or if there's like some kind of animal in the house I wasn't aware of that was eating socks, but they would disappear all the time and I could never find them. So I've got like a whole like Walmart bag full of onesies, like one sock. Can't find the match. And I can't mismatch socks. It's like a psychiatric thing for me. So like to me, it's like, but I can't get rid of them either because it's a psychiatric thing for me. I got a bag with one sock, one matching sock in it. And I keep thinking, well, one day maybe that sock will show back up and I'll match it. So maybe I should have been the head of that department. Probably. I would have taken that job very seriously. I would have found everybody's matching socks. Anyway, the National Pretzel
socks are we trying to keep together? Whose socks are we keeping together? Like, who is that for?
People that don't even live in my house anymore.
No, but I'm saying the whole department. Like, who is that for?
I don't know. Maybe there's maybe like a apartment complex or something. Maybe they run around all the apartment complex. But anybody got any one socks? We're gonna find them, and we're gonna match them. But there's also the National Pretzel Untwisting Initiative. So we can put the pretzels together, but we don't know how to unwind them. But I'm not sure, like, because usually when you put the pretzel together, that's when you cook it or you bake it, and then you don't need to unwind it. But maybe there's something I'm missing there. Like maybe I'm missing that part of my German ancestry where I didn't learn how to untwist the pretzels. I don't know, but they have an initiative for that. Here's one for you, Shauna. The Federal Balloon Training Academy.
Hey, that's for the kids, okay? That's a good one.
Yeah, but don't we have my dad says the island of lost socks. That's where they go. He's right on that one. That's ridiculous. But the Federal Balloon Training Academy, isn't there like circuses and clowns that will teach you how to make balloon animals or something? Collins, you might be onto something there. So Collins said maybe you'll meet somebody in your life eventually that lost the other sock. So then you can come together. It's like fate. It just brings you together as sock buddies until the end of time. What do you think about that? I think that's something. That might be something. It's like fate and God brings you together by matching socks. You gotta look at the silver linings of stuff. Next, the Bureau of Mailbox Feng Shui. I can't even say this one. The Bureau of Mailbox Feng Shui. But there's not like walls in a mailbox. There's one way in and one way out. But we got to make sure that energy flows good through there. Let me tell you. I almost didn't make it through that one. What is wrong with these politicians? And I'm going to get into that here in a second. But here's another big one. This one's spot on. This one is a game changer. I don't know what I'm going to do without this one. The National Bubble Wrap Relief Study. Think about how exfoliating it is to pop all the little poppers on the bubble wrap. I feel so good every time I do it. It's like stress relieving. It's like I pop a bubble, stress goes out of my body every time. So we also have the Office of Puddle Depth Measurement. So we have potholes or puddles. They got an agency that'll go out there and they'll measure how deep the puddle is for some scientific research that may come in handy someday. But at least we'll have the data. And we were continuing to collect the data. Now we don't have these agencies. So what are we going to do? Trump just announced today. I haven't seen it like the official report on. These all came off the official Doge report. The one that they're talking about today that everybody's like, dude, that's not real, is like $50 million for worth of condoms to Gaza. I don't know. You know what? I want to make a joke really bad about that, but I know that's not going to be in good favor. So I'm going to bypass the joke. But if you want to think what a joke could be in your head, then go ahead. Yeah, if you're free to think the way you want to think. But the whole point of me talking about these today, not only just to laugh at them and be ridiculous, but we need to understand that our congressional leaders are responsible for those. They put these earmarked bills into our budgets. And these are things that they sneak in there to defer money here and there and everywhere. This is a disgrace to our process. And this, I'll guarantee you, if I go back and look through these and find out when they got put in what bill and who's co-sponsored them and sponsored them, it's both sides. Both sides do this. And I've been paying attention to bills for a while now, and I know that both sides do this type of thing. Now, I'm not going to keep score and go figure out if 6 of those came from Democrats and 4 of them came from Republicans. I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. But I'm going to blame both sides of the fence because they're all responsible for this. And this is the type of stuff that I think when that Trump needs to address it, I think. I would like to see Trump get out and do a presser and say, these are the programs that is disrespectful to the American taxpayer. This is why Americans do not trust their congressional leaders. This is why you guys get excited when you get up to 18% approval rate in Congress. This is why. Because of these stupid, wasteful spending bills that they use to funnel money. This is money laundering. This is a federal crime. And until somebody gets out there and addresses it, they're going to continue to try to do this. This is why the left is always trying to put together these big, massive bills, because they want a 1,500-page bill so nobody will read it and they can put their little bubble wrap bills in there. And, you know, a lot of these are just the money allocation per year is so small in relation to the $1 trillion budget that most people aren't even going to blink an eye at it because they're like, oh, it's only 600,000. But that 600,000 is getting funneled somewhere and brought back to somebody. And that's the problem that we have with these. And that's why I don't like them. When I keep seeing these, and Colin makes up a good point, they're making Elon's job really easy. All you got to do is look in see where our spending goes and see if it's ridiculous. If it looks ridiculous, obviously we can pull those out of there. Shauna, do you have an opinion you'd like to share publicly along with your support for Donald Trump?
I want every penny that I was owed during tax returns since they want to be spending money on bullshit.
Right.
I want every
it's
penny.
Ridiculous.
I want every penny. Every penny. Nah, it's just upsetting because you can't not pay your taxes, because if you don't pay them, then you go to jail. And it's like, this is what they're doing with your money, though. And it's like we've all been complaining that everything is so high that people can't even afford to go buy eggs or milk, things that you need in your daily households to feed your house. And it's just like, I can't pay anything because inflation is so high. I don't have money. Y'all are overtaxing us. But then it's like you hear that this is what the money is going towards, somebody else's pockets, that they don't even really need it. Like, we need our money. And We need every penny that we work hard for. And it's just very upsetting that this is going on. I think it's great that they're finding out that a lot of our budgets is for BS, but I also want to know what is, like, my question to Donald Trump is, so are these people going to jail? Do they get to serve time and pay back the money that they've stolen from the American citizens? Like, what is, like, I'm glad that they're saying that all of this is like bullshit. That's great. But what are we going to do for the people who decided that this was okay in the first place? That's my question.
Well, that's going to be, and that's why I'm not going to get too far ahead of speaking on it. I'm just going to say it's ridiculous, but I'm not going to point any fingers yet, because it's hard to tell how old some of these bills are, or what administration they came in, or you know, who did what with it. I would have to do some more extensive research, and we all know that the search engines will block stuff like this. So I would have to actually get a hold of the PDF of the actual bill, go read, you know, each of the, whatever bill these are in, probably each one's in a couple different bills, and just sit down and read them. And that's going to take me a long time. It takes a while to read bills, especially when you're specifically trying to find something. And so I'm not going to put that work in. My dad said pennies aren't worth anything, Shauna.
I know the penny's not worth nothing. Well, then give me the quarters, then Papa Chuck. That's what I want. But regardless of, I want my money. I want my money. That's the thing for me. I'm a mother of two, okay? I have mouths to feed. This is not okay.
Right. Well, to expand on your perspective, Shauna, I'm glad you kind of brought that up, because if we expand on your perspective, and you talked about tax evasion, when people have these massive tax bills, they're hypothetically going to prison because of partially funding the glitter cleanup task force. Like, they're going to prison for this stuff, for their portion of these programs. And that makes it even more wrong. You know, that this is, we need that money back. That this is a scam, a straight scam. And we've been letting our government get away with this for a long time. And I think it's time that they owe us some money. So moving on, there's our opinion. Me and Sean are in agreement for the first time in human history. Write it down. So next, I'm going to go through some ratings real quick, because I was looking at TV ratings. Now, I'm going to cover four news channels real quick and just go over the difference between media. Now, you have CNN, MSNBC, Fox, and Newsmax. Those are the four. So I got two liberal, two conservative. So the prime time ratings per week for CNN are 522,000 people. Okay. You hear that number and you're like, okay, that's not too bad. MSNBC's per week is 1.3 million people. So now that dwarfs CNN. Now Fox is 2.6 million in prime time. So, and Newsmax is climbing the ladder too. They've got CNN beat, but they're a little bit under MSNBC in primetime views. So, you have conservative television, conservative news is destroying liberal news. Why is that happening? Because even though I am never going to stick up for Fox, because they're just as bad as the rest. But you have the conservative news is believed to be more truthful than liberal news. People are tuning out of CNN. CNN's not going to make it much longer. Their daytime views are at like 400,000, where Fox's is at 1.9. Newsmax is at like right around 600,000. So, you know, they're getting beat by Newsmax, which is what I consider. They're just now getting an IPO. They're a small market news agency. So they're getting beat by companies like Newsmax. Now, Newsmax is doing it right. They're building it a bit at a time, and eventually they're going to surpass Fox. But then you look at the top 15 programs, according to ratings, Fox has 14 of the top 15. So they their programs own the ratings. which number one is I think it was the Will Kane show was number one. Like Sean Hannity was like number 3. He keeps falling. But I don't like him anyway. He likes to talk about himself too much. I think he's a narcissist. He was probably a good guy at one time, but he just like he needs to get out of Fox if he wants to further himself. But that's ratings. And I don't really pay attention to that too much because it doesn't really change too much. Newsmax is really the only one that changes because they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's that. I just wanted to show people, if any liberals jump on here, that you guys' news sucks and nobody ever watches it. So I don't know why you guys keep pulling all your information off of your news outlets, because there's a reason why your news sucks. Oh yeah, Sean's in the house today. Nice. Okay, so let's go to the confusion. We're going to talk about the confusion that's on social media today, because I've been arguing about this like for the last 2 days. So I'm going to clarify some things because that's what I do. So we're going to talk about the Equal Opportunity Act of 1965. That everybody's flipping out about. And I'm going to explain to you why this doesn't matter. G-Bro, what's up, man? Everybody's starting to pop in now. I like that. We're just getting into the juicy stuff now. So let's go over kind of step by step how this happened. So President Trump revoked the Executive Order 11-246 signed by Lyndon Baines Johnson in 1965. Okay. This is an old, outdated act. It's relevant, but it's not relevant at the same time. I don't want to downplay this act. However, I'm going to explain to you what happened to it. So social media claims they refer to the 1965 Equal Employment Opportunity Act, that there was no such law passed that year. So it's not a law, for one. It's an act. It's an executive order, just like Joe Biden does, just like Barack Obama does, just like Donald Trump does. So any executive order can be rescinded. And that's what Trump did. He said, hey, this is in itself, over the period of time, has become a discriminatory act. Let's take it out. We're trying to even the bar with everybody. So let's take this out, because now that doesn't, people are getting it confused with the Civil Rights Act. The Civil Rights Act is not going to go anywhere. That's going to stay in play. So it's still illegal to discriminate against people based on color, sex, ethnicity, and all those that are on the list that we've been hearing about forever. That's still in play. That's never going to go away. You can't discriminate against people because of any of those reasons. That'll get you in big time trouble as an employer. But the Equal Opportunity Act of 1965 isn't really relevant. It's outdated and it needed to go. So Trump rescinded it and pulled it back based upon he's classified it as a DEI program and he's taken it out.
Can we also just say, why would anybody want to be in a work environment where you're not welcome? So even if these people are forced to hire you, why would you want to be in? That's a toxic environment when you're somewhere where people clearly don't want you. So whether you see this as a good thing or a bad thing, let's just think logically. Why would you want to work somewhere that's going to constantly feel like you're being, like people are against you? You don't want to work in that. That's not a healthy environment. Yeah. You want to be able to say, oh, I love going to work. Maybe not every day, but majority of the time you should be able to want to say that. So knowing that, this is this fucking ignorance. What the okay, yeah. So so that's something that people should think about.
Well, think about this too, Shauna. When we're looking at the date that this was created, 1965, that we didn't have Google back then. We didn't have Google reviews. So there's no real sense for you to walk in blindly to a job not really knowing what's going on, because everybody reviews everything nowadays. So if a company has tendencies to discriminate because of race, somebody's going to put that on a review, and you're going to look at that and you're going to go, yeah, I'm a person of color. That's probably not a good place for me. Do I agree with them discriminating? Absolutely not. However, just like what you said, Shauna, I think it's wise to pick and choose your battles. Some places are just not going to be a good working environment.
But see, this is also too the thing. Like, okay, now I don't think people should be discriminated against when applying to jobs. But I also have to think you have to think about situational awareness. Like, do we really want to hire? No offense to anybody, but my thing is, do we want to hire a black person in a predominantly white school that, let's just say, like one of the schools out here, like in Buckhead, where it's like a school where there's a lot of money, there's a lot of privilegeness. Like, you as a black person, why would you even want to, I mean, like, the money might be good, but these kids are not going to be able to resonate with you as a teacher. So why would you want to work in that type of environment? Like, it's just, you have to have situational awareness. Like, there's just certain jobs that certain people are better at because of circumstances. So it's just one of those things. Like, you can't, like, I wouldn't want to be like, oh, I'm going to go work in a private school. I absolutely would not want to deal with any of those privileged children, because my reality, how I was raised, what I had to see is totally different. They're not going to get that. So it doesn't matter what I explain to them or try to teach them to understand. Their day-to-day life would never make sense. So is discrimination good? No, but I also think that a job should be able to distinctly make a decision if they know that you're not going to be best fit for this role because of something like that. That's a huge thing. Like, as a teacher, you want to be able to reach your children. So certain times, yeah, that school might pay good money, but you as a black teacher may not be able to reach them. And that's the whole point of your job in the first place. So no, it's okay. Like, in my opinion, it's okay if the school is like, no, he's black, we can't have him here, because it makes sense on that end. Now, they're just saying it because he's black, then no. But saying, like, too, it has to be a situational thing. Like, it, and this is why all of that stuff is stupid, because it becomes too much.
Colin's always trying to bait something all the time. Oh, you got a thumbs down.
Black people can't be racist. What do you mean? Absolutely not.
Somebody thumbs down to you, Shauna. You didn't see the thumbs down bubble pop up?
No, I'm driving. I'm in Atlanta traffic right now. I'm just saying, you have to be realistic, people. Like, me myself as a black person would never want to work in that level of privileges, because it doesn't matter what I say or what I try to teach. It's not going to reach them, because they were going to leave there and go be in their privileged life. So why be somewhere where your full potential is not even going to be able to thrive anyways? Which, once again, you should think about is situational awareness.
Well, so there's an exemption. There's an exemption to that where the act is important. For instance, people, I know, right? But people who don't have a lot of like job skills, and they have to take whatever job is given to them, they still deserve to be treated fairly. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to continue on my list because I've got 4 pages of stuff to get through. So on, whatever, Shauna. But on so on Twitter's been the battleground mainly. I mean, it's happening everywhere, but Twitter's always worse because it's a bloodbath on there. Oh, I can't say bloodbath, I forgot. But so what they're saying, what the liberals are trying to peddle, and they know better, what they're trying to peddle on Twitter is that Donald Trump, this is one quote that I specifically pulled off here because they're repeating this one over and over and over again, that Donald Trump has revoked the Equal Employment Opportunity Act of 1965. The order prohibited discrimination in hiring and employment based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. So they've basically taken the 2 acts and combined them and said Donald Trump got rid of them. So they're trying to give you the okey doke that they're similar, but they're not. But they're trying to combine them and saying, look, he's discriminating poor black people. We're not going to be able to give you jobs. That's not what he did. I'm going to get into it here in a little bit, but I'm not going to talk about it now. But Donald Trump said a lot of, really empowering things this week towards the black community, and the liberal media is not reporting it at all, which is sad. So Meta has been flagging the misinformation of this, thank God, because it's absolutely not true. So an act is a legislation passed by Congress that's signed into law by the president. So the president cannot unilaterally overturn a law with an executive order. But a president can, however, amend or withdraw another president's executive order. That is the law, which that's what Trump did with that specific situation of got rid of Lyndon LBJ's his executive order. So at the end of when he rescinded that, he came out and made a statement that he said he's ending illegal discrimination and restoring merit-based opportunity. So, merit-based is huge. I run into that at our work. If I need merit-based people because I can't make every decision in my company by myself. I need people who I can depend on to help me make decisions. So I'm in that boat. I want merit. I want people who can problem solve, who can think and can relate to how I think. I need them to learn how I think and react accordingly. So, merit's big. In the company that I work for, you have to work. You have to work for your promotions. You don't just get them handed to you. Even though we pretty much dominantly have a minority population at my job, but they all work for their promotions. And I prefer it that way. I watch them grow personally as people. Shauna, we see this every day. Like we've got people that have been getting shunned by other jobs, but we gave them opportunity. We said, look, you can come in here and work, prove yourself. And then they come in here and they prove themselves. And then we reward them with promotion and more money. So that's how the workforce is supposed to work. But we've been practicing this in my entire corporation probably since the 80s. So that's nothing new for us. However, our other locations don't have nearly as many in the minority population as what we do in the Atlanta area. So, we do have that system in that situation. So the program freeze, I'm going to talk about this too, because this is the one today that I've been arguing with them about. So the program freeze, this is the dumbest thing ever. This basically comes down to people can't read and comprehend legal jargon.
People can't read and comprehend at all.
I get it.
They can't read. Oh my God.
So Donald Trump put a freeze on a lot of programs. Now, the program freeze, it was only temporary from the get-go. It was supposed to go up until February 10th. So it's a temporary freeze. The liberals refused to look at that part of the executive order and said, Donald Trump got rid of every program you guys are going to need. Nobody's getting any food or assistance or nothing. Like, he's got all these people freaking out, especially like Chuck Schumer and Schiff and the same old idiots in the Democrat Party that are constantly trying to light fires all over the country. So you've got all these content creators and all of these lawyers are on going, that's not what is happening. Like, you guys are starting fires for no reason. So basically, and I have the executive order right here in front of me. Or I have the response to it, the OMB. So what Trump has responded to their outcry since the liberal media and the idiot senators and House members on the left want to continue to peddle this nonsense. So basically, Trump came out and said any payment required by law to be paid will be paid without interruption or delay. They didn't report that. So he did a question, a Q&A on the whitehouse.gov. That's where I pulled this from. Question: is this a freeze on all federal financial assistance? The answer is no. The pause does not apply across the board. It does not apply across the board. It is expressly limited to programs, projects, and activities implicated by the president's executive orders, such as ending DEI, the Green New Deal, and funding non-governmental organizations that undermine the national interest. This is a repeal of everything Biden put in play. This has nothing to do with Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, any of those benefits, the social benefits that everybody like needs.
None of that.
SNAP. Right. None of those are affected.
I seen a video of a girl crying because she thought that that she was getting rid of her food stamps.
She panicked for nothing.
Somebody please tell me this isn't true.
I'll tell you, it's not true. There, go get your food stamps and go feed your kids. So,
well, somebody told her, they said, well, they did just get rid of all those immigrants, so you could go get a job now.
There's plenty of jobs out there now.
Oh, God. That's so not funny. That's not funny. That's not funny.
Yep. See, Sarge? You're not getting your benefits no more. So next question. There's 4 of them total. So we did 1. Next question. Is there a freeze on benefits to Americans like SNAP or student loans? He specifically talks about SNAP and student loans. The answer is no. Any program that provides direct benefits to Americans is explicitly excluded. Excluded means it's not part of the pause. Excluded. Excluded. You think excluded. Ex-wife. She's not there no more.
Oh my God.
So, in addition to what? That's a good example. Anyway, in addition to Social Security and Medicare, already explicitly excluded in the guidance, mandatory programs like Medicaid and SNAP will continue without. So in legal terms, there's 2 different ways to say something. There is will and shall. So will means yes, it is. Shall means yes, maybe. So I just want to clarify that for those of you legal people out there. Will and shall are 2 different ways of saying it. So with him saying will, that means absolutely it's going to happen. So it will continue without pause. Medicaid and SNAP. This came out yesterday, by the way, everybody. Funds for small businesses, farmers, Pell Grants, Head Start, rental assistance, and other similar programs will not be paused. Straight from Donald Trump's mouth. If agencies are concerned that these programs may implicate the president's executive orders, they should consult OMB to begin to unwind these objectionable policies without a pause in payments. So if you are on the list if you're on the list and you're not one of the 50 organizations and programs that are not getting paused, you can object to your classification. So he even gives you the opportunity to say, hey, I should be funded. Next, is the pause of federal financial assistance and impoundment? No, it is not an impoundment under the Impoundment Control Act. It's a temporary pause. Temporary. to give agencies time to ensure that financial assistance conforms to the policies set out in the president's executive orders. People, this is an audit. Donald Trump told you all he was going to audit the United States government. This is what is happening. You guys are freaking out for no reason. Temporary pauses are a necessary part of program implementation that have been ordered by past presidents also to ensure that programs are being executed and funds spent in accordance with the new president's policies and do not, where is my cursor? And do not constitute impoundments. So they're being audited. And seeing how the programs that we talked about at the beginning of the show, the ridiculousness that Doge is pulling out of our government, Donald Trump has every right to go in there and audit those programs. Because how does he not know that more stupid money is being hidden there? He doesn't. And Elon Musk is already finding stupidity all throughout our budgeting. So it needed to happen. Everybody's freaking out because Donald Trump did a temporary pause of certain programs. And he tells you in his Q&A that, oh, the social programs are not getting affected. But yet here we are having people all over the internet freaking out, getting ready to have cute winter boots all over the place for no reason. Because they're idiots. They can't read or comprehend English. So the last one, why is this pause necessary? To act as faithful stewards of our taxpayer money. The new administrations must reveal federal programs to ensure that they are being executed in accordance with the law and the new president's policies. They're being responsible in making sure that our taxpayer money is being spent how it's supposed to be spent. This is not hard. This is not rocket science. But if you go on the internet and you go get on Occupy Democrats and you go, look at their little meme they made. That has to be true because Occupy Democrats is so reliable. Occupy Democrats is the most fact-checked and community guidelined site on Twitter, just so everybody knows that. They lie more than anybody on there, besides Joe Walsh and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Chuck Schumer and Alex Schiff. He's probably in the top. He's on a whole other planet with lying. But there's so much propaganda on Twitter, and you have all these sheep minions that don't want to go on and look at the official record and read what the official record is. It's the same thing we went through when Biden was in office. The liars would peddle the information that Joe Biden wanted everybody to think, but then you go actually read the official record, and you're like, that's not what Joe Biden is telling everyone. He's actually doing something completely different than what Joe Biden was telling everyone. And so people would get confused. And guess what? The American people caught him too many times lying. We caught Schiff lying too many times. We caught Chuck Schumer lying too many times with his stupid glasses over his face. We are going to rally around the people. Get out of here, Chuck Schumer. Bro, you don't look good, bro. I'm going to tell you that right now. Chuck Schumer, you don't look good. You look sick. Time to retire. Now that we have this all cleared up, and on top of that, just so Donald Trump could get everybody to shut up, he went ahead and rescinded the whole thing. This whole thing doesn't even matter anymore because Trump said, fine. You guys want to be a bunch of crybabies and not read? Like, fundamental thing in the world is reading. I'll just rescind the whole thing. I'm done auditing anyway. And Sarge, you're right. People are, the Democrats, the left, and some of the rhinos, they are terrified of the hammer of Trump. It's coming. We got the principal, we got the right principal, and everyone's afraid to go to the principal's office right now because he ain't playing. The hammer's coming, and people are probably going to go to prison at the end of this. because we're seeing the scamming, the stealing of our money, the lying. How many of Biden's people have been caught lying under oath to Congress? I don't understand why indictments aren't out already.
That was found that him and his administration had taken.
Well, why don't you go ahead and tell us then, smarty pants?
Doesn't matter if you do or not. People won't believe it. That can't be true. $27 million between Trump and Biden and his administration, basically hush money for them sending billions and trillions of dollars to other countries who didn't need it. Okay, this is a whole fucking accident. Wow. On both sides, that was insane.
Well, how about you just pay attention to driving? How about that? But you're right. You're absolutely right. That's a crime in itself. They just sentenced Bob Melendez today to 11 years for acting as an agent, an unregistered agent to a foreign country while he was in office. Joe Biden did the exact same thing. That Joe Biden should be there. He should be cellies with Bob Melendez. For those of you who don't know who that is, Bob Melendez is a senator who ended up with a bunch of bullion and gold that he blamed it. He snitched on his wife and said, "Oh, it's hers," but it's got the Switzerland seal all over it and Saudi seals all over it. So he's got all the Saudi gold and Switzerland gold. But now that's my wife. My wife, she's doing deals with other countries. Get out of here, man. You try to play us. You did that. So he's going to prison for 11 years today. Now, I want to talk about cute winter boots because this is a game they don't want to play, because I'm seeing steel-toed boots and combat boots everywhere. And the types of boots that those types of people are having are nasty. You're talking former military, our vets, people who came back from combat zones that still aren't right in the head, that they have zero problems and zero empathy eliminating targets. You need to think about those things before you get your cute little boots out. Now that's me trying to say this is a stupid idea. This is me saying you Gen Zers are dumber than a box of shit. You guys need to just calm down, chill, stay in your basements, and play your freaking Xbox. Don't come out here in the real world where there's real people with real ambition, with real artillery. And like I said, I got a friend who's got a 50 sitting in his front window. Anti-aircraft firearm on a tripod, pointed out towards the road. This is the type of people that you cute winter boot people don't want to mess with. And they are dying for a fight. And they know how to fight. So when you show up with your cutout Rubbermaid trash can shields, sorry, it's not going to help you. For one, they're just going to beat your ass. For two, you guys look like a bunch of children on the Goonies. Like, it's not going to work. You look like the Lost Boys on Peter Pan. Like, where's your zip line? Rufio. Y'all look like Rufio on a zip line. Stop playing big kid games. It's not going to go well for you, I promise. And then on top of that, you guys were supposed to do something in Philadelphia today. I see that didn't happen. So I'm no longer taking these winter boots seriously. Luckily, I wrote my outline yesterday when you guys were still talking a big game. So I just want to let you know that, you guys are ridiculous and nobody's taking you seriously anymore. Everybody made fun of you on TikTok and everybody's like laughing at you. They're all going to laugh at you, which is probably why you're liberal anyway, because the football players put you in the locker in high school and you're still bitter about that. Look, on behalf of all jocks, I'm sorry that you got put in the locker in high school. I apologize on behalf. Take it or leave it. Hopefully that can heal the world. Anyway, they're also encouraging the lawmakers are saying, no, don't go out and protest. Do a strike instead. But I see the strike's not working because, Zuckerberg, TikTok, Google, Instagram, X, those are all like have switched over to Team Trump, but they won't get off of them long enough to even complete the strike. So, that didn't work. Just keep making Trump supporters richer. Thank you. I appreciate it. And just so you know, any monetary gains that I have off of any of my social media platforms, I donate directly to Donald Trump's presidential campaign. So for those of you liberals that like to come on my stuff and troll me, you are funding Donald Trump. I appreciate your donation. So does Shauna. She voted for Donald Trump. She's just not out of the closet yet. Now, okay, so I'm going to briefly talk about the RFK hearings today because there's still a lot going out. So I was not happy with how that they conducted that. Like, if you're going to have a hearing, you at least got to let the candidate talk. Like, you got Elizabeth Warren like freaking out on the stand today. She's just like screaming at RFK, like, are you going to let this guy talk? And it was a complete shit show. And I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. Why even invite him why even let him come? Why don't you
That's
just say,
that
hey,
red 49 that they've been ingesting.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's stupid. The dude is going to make Big Pharma go bankrupt. He's going to bring back clean food. And you're going to sit here and ask him about what something said on a baby onesie. Like, come on, man. Who cares? You guys are missing the point. Yeah, let's just go ahead and not put anybody in there so we can continue to poison America with all the extra preservatives and everything else. You know what? Let's just all go drink a bottle of embalming fluid later, because that's basically the types of food that we eat. Just prepare ourselves for early death. I support RFK and his clean food initiatives. I support RFK and his push to get kids to exercise more. I support RFK in his push to get rid of chronic illnesses. I don't understand what the pushback is on this. Health, good food, not have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars in medical bills later because I have all these illnesses because of the trashy food I eat. This is a no-brainer, but it shows who's on board with Big Pharma. It shows whose pockets are getting lined with Big Pharma. Now, I did watch Fox today, and I watched The Five, and they have the super communist on there, Jessica Tarloff, to be fair, but she's just an idiot. And she was like, Elizabeth Warren, you guys are liars. Elizabeth Warren isn't owned by Big Pharma. Guess what Eric did? He audited Elizabeth Warren. Guess who's owned by Big Pharma? Elizabeth Warren. So good job, Jessica Tarloff, for bringing my awareness to Elizabeth Warren's campaign finances. Yeah, Big Pharma is all over that. So is George Soros. I don't know if they're saving Arnie anymore, Sarge. I don't know if we can save him. He's gone off on the deep end. But I agree. I do think that we need to get these kids off their devices and out doing stuff. I was just telling Shauna the other day that when I was a kid, and most of you guys, like Sarge, you probably know this because I never lived in the school district that I went to school in. I lived in a whole other county away. And so all my friends were like 20 miles away from me. So in order for me to go kick it with my friends, I had to ride my bike 20 miles to get to all my friends. And so I was stayed healthy. I stayed doing stuff. And then when I got to where I was going, we were always out playing baseball or basketball or football pickup games. Like we were constantly doing stuff, or we were just running around the neighborhood. And these kids they don't do stuff like that no more. They stay on their phones. They're making content all day, and they're getting lazy. So it sucks. It sucks. And these kids aren't living life. And I feel bad. I feel bad because as a parent, I'm probably partly responsible for that. And I'll take responsibility for that. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but I hope RFK I hope they give him a shot to come in here and try to clean this up. So those of you, last thing I'm going to talk about, DeepSeek, it has snuck up on us and screwed up the OpenAI stuff. So I'm waiting to see. DeepSeek's already censoring history, so I don't see that. I would assume that the federal government is probably going to take that off the app stores and allow OpenAI to come back. So if you are investing in stuff, I would probably go buy some NVIDIA stock. That's my stock tip of the day, because NVIDIA took a 17% hit, but as soon as Trump blocks DeepSeek, NVIDIA stock's going to go back up bad. It's going to go up big. So my prediction is that NVIDIA is going to be a good stock option. Probably OpenAI as well, but it's not publicly traded, so it is what it is. Oracle's probably another one. But that is my show for the day. Thanks everybody for tuning in and bringing me some good content. Who all did I have in there? Sarge, Squirrel, G-Bro. I'm probably missing somebody, but I'll be back on Sunday. Hopefully something crazy happens. Sarge, you might be right. I don't know. I haven't looked into it yet. I'm not going to give DeepSeek the benefit of having a login from me. So I'm staying out of that one. But we'll be back on Sunday. Shauna, be safe getting wherever you're trying to get to.
I just pulled up.
And I'm out.
Bye, y'all.
Pull up then.
Not where you at, all the way out there.